All right. Hey guys, I thought I'd make a little playthrough and just see where we're at. Maybe I need a little front light as well. I'm trying to come up with a way to make these devlog videos a little easier. Like have your coffee ready to go. All right. Got the controller ready to go. Got Unreal Engine and the game set up. And let's see if I can quickly. Let's see. Well, we'll just leave it at that and cut that out. All right, welcome to my little devlog stream. I am trying to put together a little playthrough of where I'm at right now. I feel like I've accomplished a lot. My working schedule has shifted from Monday through Friday to Tuesday and Saturday, so I'm adjusting to having Mondays off. And then my wife is off to her new job, so on Monday I had a lot more time to just sit behind the computer, and that's it. And then we end up going to bed really early, so I woke up at midnight because I usually go to bed at 2 or 3 in the morning because of my European working hours from Southeast Asia. So so I actually was just up from midnight till 4, and I got the health bar in. Let me just show you. As you can see right there in the corner, I got my health bar in. I have to click on the screen in order for the controls to take effect. Yes. I've got a little health boost for when you hit the respawn. I've got these little following demon eyes coming after me. This one, this little green dragon thing, it's just a bigger version of the one on top over here. Let me just wall climb my way here. Why isn't it sticking? New bug? That is a new bug. That's so weird. Huh. How many times have I done this? And now it just doesn't want to stick. Okay. So I've got the green dragon over here, which is just a bigger version of that. All of these are, of course, let me just, they're simply art assets from someone who was kind enough to put them online without any hassle of worrying about copyrights. It's under the do whatever you want clause, which is awesome. And so they've allowed me to get this game up and running pretty fast. If by pretty fast you think 3 months, I mean, this is my 3rd devlog, but to be perfectly honest, I started the devlog after I was well underway of my 2nd attempt to get through the Cobra Code course, which is making a 2D game in Unreal Engine, which is, of course, okay, we're working in. Awesome. Okay, I don't know why that was, but it's all cool. It's all good. Unreal Engine is, of course, a 3D engine. It's known for many AAA games on many a console, on PC. It is used in movies these days. Wait. Kill that one. And it's awesome. I've played around with it before. Over a year ago, I decided to get going again, and with this 2D course. And what ended up happening was I got halfway through the course, and there was something I wasn't happy with, or something didn't go quite my way, and I was just Command Z all the way back, which I'd done before, but this time what I ended up doing was I ended up taking out and emptying out certain functions and references, and it ended up breaking the game. Like, it became completely unplayable, unbreakable, if only. And it's not as if Unreal Engine, whether it's on the Mac or just in general, isn't already accident prone. It's a very, I mean, the amount of crashes I can have on a single day, I mean, it's a very annoying engine to work with until you start figuring out its idiosyncrasies, which is, when you think about this engine in code, if you code something that's not going to work, when you hit run, it's going to break. But the engine is always running everything. And so when you code something that's going to break, then the whole engine just crashes. And so what you need to do is constantly compile and save. And so what I've done is I've taken these little side buttons here, and I've simply mapped compile and save to them. So it's just click, click all the time. It's a habit now. So there I was, breaking the game after a good month's worth of work. And so mid-February, I got over myself. I was so upset with myself breaking the game. And I simply started over with the advantage of knowing what was coming, with the advantage of having taken a lot of screenshots for the blueprints. Ah yes, this one is flying slightly into the background, that's why you can't hit him. So I started over, and I think in about 3 weeks, I was fully caught up. Because of course I'm doing this in my spare time, while working and while living. Usually I have like anywhere between an hour, half an hour, sometimes 2 hours a day to work on it, which is a decent amount of time. You don't do the same thing every day, of course. So anyway, on my second attempt, lots of crabs here. On my second attempt, I decided to make this little devlog series. And so now I'm trying to come up with a way to streamline making videos every week, because did I get my health? Oh, I was almost dead. Because editing is something I used to really enjoy editing, but then because it's so time consuming, I kind of moved away from it, and I didn't look back. And when I do have a go, I immediately, want to try out different stuff, like I said last week. And I always find something new, like, oh, I wonder if I could do this, if I could edit it that way. Oh, I wonder if I can add subtitles. Oh, I wonder if I can, and then before you know it, it's another 4-hour edit for like a 10-minute video. Oh, and that is just how time consuming this can be. So big props to all you YouTubers out there who do this for a living, because it's quite something. Hold down the fire button and you can get the football, get a little flash, which is to help the player realize what you're doing. Hold it down long enough, you get the projectile. Okay. So what else was I saying? I have been using these assets to help me build out this game within a reasonable amount of time. I have gotten a sprite. I did get myself a little course on Udemy on how to use it properly. I should do something about that. And also for Procreate on the iPad. I've learned how to use Procreate before, but I kind of just forgot. And then I got back into Photoshop, and I paid for Photoshop for a whole year. And then when I canceled it, they charged me for another year because that's how Adobe rolls. And that was not cool. So now I'm adamant about learning other art packages and never having to pay them again, which is a shame because I love Photoshop, but you know. So this is a section where I've added a little hot zone. So you trigger it and then you start over because there's no second level yet. And that's what I'm going to have to start thinking about next. Let me see the health bar go up. There we go. Let's go the other direction. So yeah, this is my little game. It's come along. I'm actually quite fond of the creatures, and I'd like to expand on them. And for example, if you look at the crab, this is a single sprite, right? Like it's got an idle animation, even though he never idles anymore. It's got a walking animation, and I think to myself, if I just break it up, like, so there's the body, the legs, the claws, and the eyes, and if I break that up into pieces, I could have different kinds of eyes. I could have different sized claws, different sized legs, and I could build different crabs. And if I do it in a grayscale, and this is where my experience in Photoshop and making art digitally comes in. If I'd make it in grayscale, then I could very easily, I think, apply a tint in Unreal Engine. And so all of a sudden, I could have many different colored crabs with different variations, right? I haven't done that before, but I'm starting to think that based on what I've been taught by Cobra Code in his 2D, make 2D games in the 3D engine or Unreal Engine, check the link down below. I'm pretty sure we could pull that off, actually. And that would be a fun thing. It would save on creating assets. And then you can just have a little bit more variety in the enemies, you know, without having variety in the enemies. Oh. So for now, I've simply doubled up the size of some of the enemies, and I figure I could easily import them into a sprite, double them up, and then redraw them so they're more defined, more high res, but larger. If I want to keep these, this is a 2D game, but like in places like this, I would very much myself would like to walk down and then around, but that's not going to happen. And the reason I'm going to hold off adding features like that, even though I am interested in adding some features, is of course because at the start of this DevLog series, I said I think it would take me about 6 months to make a simple game. I think that's a reasonable amount of time. Whenever you look at DevLog series, people take years to make games by themselves, because making games, making comics, anything creative, people tend to get carried away. I get carried away. They're very time-consuming activities, and I don't know why I am drawn to, I don't want to say things of my childhood, because adults play games and read comic books, but I don't know why I'm drawn to things that I could possibly do by myself that are usually done in teams. Okay, got my health even fuller now. So I know I'm gonna be working on this. Maybe I just enjoy having a hobby that is very time consuming. I don't know. But having learned from previous attempts from over a year ago, over 10 years ago, making a game, I wanna keep things very realistic and very doable. Okay, let's get the last 2 bits of health filled up. Was it over here? I wonder why sometimes they get stuck inside of each other and into the walls. But clearly it's the, they fall on top of each other, and the angle of the walls. And this one, okay, this one once and for all needs to be corrected. Let's just fix this one up. And let's add another one. Like that. Save all. Alt-P. And we are back in the game. All this button clicking is probably driving you nuts if you're even watching this far. So I want to keep it realistic. I have right here, I have a reasonable amount of gameplay set up, right? When you think about like some old games like Super Mario Brothers, like the first one, when you think about the actual amount of level variety as in backgrounds, when you think about the enemy variety, it's not that great. Of course, you can make the argument like, well, would anyone really still want to play those games now? Well, the answer is yes, I think. But expectations have been raised. And so I think if, like, when you look at this level, right? Like all you're seeing in the background, like these are imaginary destroyed buildings in the background, right? Some apocalyptic 8-bit scene. I think for a first world, we should be able to do several levels. Oops. In 6 months. Like, let's say we want 10 levels that are set in this one world with this one backdrop, and we do that well. And we see how far we get. Maybe we get 2 worlds going. I don't know. But I think that's a reasonable goal. The one thing right now that I'm thinking about, that I've already started thinking about now that like I have these gameplay items set up for me to use, like a few enemies, I've got my health bar, I've got respawning, I've got an end of level, I can connect to the next level. I have different weapons, so for different types of puzzles, how to get through them in an action game. I haven't even done doors yet. Health bar. I'm very proud of that health bar. I have now time to think about, well, okay, so how am I gonna actually dress up this world? As I just said, what you see here are like, this could be like some destroyed building. Like you can see like different levels, things are falling apart, like the floors are like, you know, maybe there was an earthquake or an explosion, who knows. So how am I going to get that art onto these shapes? These primitive shapes that I've just put out there so I can build a game. And how am I gonna do that in an efficient manner? Like, I think what I'm looking at is I need to figure out how to make my own 16-bit looking materials for 3D shapes, and then things will start falling into place, right? So think of an approach with tile maps, which I learned about yesterday. I watched a whole bunch of videos about tile maps, and it looks really cool on like a proper 2D flat game. But wait. But I really want to get this 3D world going, a 2D and 3D world going. I think this is much better. Let's see if I can now jump. Yes. See? Let's see where that bullet is coming from. I respawn. Whoa. Oh, I remember this one. He's like at an angle, because I thought that would be fun to try out with. So now he's shooting into the distance. Lesson learned. There should be another exit on top of this one, I think. On top of that one. Coming up. So yeah, as I was saying, the backdrop is like some apocalyptic, destroyed cityscape. We're in the future, who knows? And so all these 3D objects in the background, all these primitives, I could just combine them together into one, just paint on top of them. And that would help optimize the game. So like if I separate the backdrops into like separate layers or planes, I could even just make it a 2D plane with alpha, so you can see through it. So it's, you know, like the shapes of the buildings, and it's like one big drawing that doesn't even have to be high res because it's so far back. That could also work. I mean, these are the kinds of things I'm thinking about right now. All right, let's trigger the exit. Oh, no. Let's try that again. Is that even possible? Is it even here? So yeah, experimentation here with like the different angles for the platform. Yes, let's see. Made it. And then I have to add a freeze the player so you can't walk off a ledge while you're exiting. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. Thank you for listening. We got a lot of work to do. I think for the next devlog, I'm gonna not be an Unreal Engine, but I'm going to be in freeform, and I'm going to map out what I intend to do next. Set up, like line out like assets for this, that kind of thing. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.